All the boys used to tease her for being a girl and liking video games, but when the game started, they were all left speechless. Are you good at video games? Then you'd get along great with Tong. This kiss is a professional gamer, which is quite unusual because she's a girl. Not only is she good, but she plays so well that she catches the attention of a company that wants to hire her as a professional gamer. It's a multiplayer arena game, like LOL, you know? And she's invited to join a team called CGDX. If she accepts, Tong will need to travel to Shanghai. She's excited about the offer and goes to talk to her parents, but they show no interest in it. They say you can't make a living playing video games. Despite her parents' lack of support, Tong decides to go on her own. At the airport, she meets Rui, a guy in charge of admissions. He explains to Tong that one of the players left the team due to injury, and she will take his place. This leaves her pensive, and she promises to give her answer as soon as possible. Later, Tong goes with her friend Jenny to watch a video game tournament to get warmed up. The competitors are Team G against Team Z. One of the participants on Team Z is Yang Tong's ex-boyfriend. The games begin, and it's all very intense until Team Z wins. One of the rivals from Team G gives a speech, apologizing for making so many mistakes during the match and leading the team to failure. This guy's speech makes Tong realize how much she loves video games, and she sends a message to Rui saying she accepts the offer to join the team. When Jack, a colleague of hers, learns that Tong has been invited to join a team of professional gamers, he confronts her. He's not happy that she was chosen because he thinks he's the best, especially since he's the one who taught Tong how to play. She says she deserves the spot more than he does, and Jack promises that when he's in a match, he'll show that he's the best. Having accepted the offer, Tong meets the other team members, and right away she doesn't get along with the team leader, a guy named Cheng. Since they don't get along, Rui has the brilliant idea of sending the two of them out together in a car. They go to a store to buy items for her, and while Tong picks up some things, Cheng does his best to annoy the young girl. The two of them bicker throughout the shopping trip, as the group of players is quite famous, and Cheng is the one with the most fans. A group of girls surrounds him at the store. They take several photos and insinuate that Cheng and Tong are dating. When they return to the team headquarters, Cheng tells Tong that he wants to see if she really knows how to play or if it's just talk. She agrees and plays so well that she surprises everyone. Having proven her worth, Cheng finally decides to do his job, which is to teach Tong how to improve her skills and play as a team. He devises a lesson plan with various tactics that are taught to her. Everything is going very well for the team, but who is not happy with this closeness is Yang, Tong's ex-boyfriend. He looks at social media and notices several people talking about how well Tong and Cheng get along. Yang and Tong were together for a while, but they broke up when they went to college. However, Yang misses her, especially now that rumors say she has a new love interest. He becomes very jealous. Without thinking properly, Yang decides to try to reconcile the relationship and sends a message to Tong. However, the feeling is not mutual, and she bluntly says she doesn't want to get back together. After much training, the time comes for Tong to show whether she has learned to play as a team or not. The team plays against a rival team, and Tong manages to show what she's made of. They win, and the whole team celebrates, except for Cheng, who limits himself to criticizing, saying that Tong is impulsive and careless when she plays. She doesn't stay silent and confronts Cheng because she has dedicated herself a lot, and he criticizes her for no reason. They argue but end up making up, and Cheng draws a flower on her hand as a sign of peace. Tong looks at the drawing, and even though she doesn't say anything, it's clear that she liked it. When all the duties are done, the group of players goes out to dinner, and they take the opportunity to talk and get to know each other better. Tong manages to win the sympathy of her teammates by talking more about herself. Everyone went out for dinner except for Jay, who preferred to stay home listening to music. As he's alone at home, he gets a shock when two people enter the place. They are Tong's parents, who were very worried when their daughter decided to pursue this life of being a professional video game player, even after they said they didn't agree. Shortly after, Tong arrives with the group. Everyone is laughing and talking, but when they look at her parents, the mood becomes tense. Tong's parents were there to try to convince her again to get a more stable job, but the young woman refuses. With that, her parents say that if that's her choice, they will respect it. And from that moment on, Tong will be treated as an adult who makes all her own decisions. The next day, there's going to be a championship match that will be broadcast live, and Tong's friend does her makeup. When she arrives at the team's headquarters, looking beautiful, Cheng admires Tong, but doesn't say anything, maintaining his tough guy demeanor. They enter the match, and Cheng makes a point of reading out loud all the unpleasant comments people send in the live chat. This doesn't distract Tong, who continues to play very focused. The rival team is TAT. The match unfolds, and at its end, CGDX wins. Tai, the leader of the rival team, can't hold back. He stands up and starts mocking CGDX, calling them cowards. He mocks them because they admitted a girl as part of the team. This attitude really bothers Rui, and as he's responsible for the players, he goes to talk to Chung. Rui asks Chung to defend Tong, since she's the only woman on the team, and consequently will suffer more attacks sometimes. He takes the opportunity to ask Chung if he likes the new addition to the team, and Chung confesses that he likes Tong, unaware that she and the rest of the team are listening in from behind a plant. Tong tries to forget everything she heard and that she was the target of insults, but when it comes time to show what she's made of, she can't focus. She ends up making several mistakes during the match, and it's obvious that even though she tried to brush it off, she was affected by the insults. The team loses the match. Tong is so frustrated with herself that while everyone else goes to rest, she spends the night at the headquarters in front of the computer training. Chung sees Tong's anxiety and decides to take a break from being so stubborn. He even brings her a glass of milk to help her relax. When treated with kindness, Tong also decides it's time to put aside her tough facade and confesses that she's feeling scared by it all. As she vents, she cries, and if you don't want to make me cry, go ahead and leave your like. Oh, and also subscribe to the channel and share this video with more people. Chung tries to protect Tong at all costs. That's why he creates a fake account and responds to many nasty comments, defending her from malicious people. The next day, Tong and Jenny go to a nightclub, and there Jenny sees her ex-boyfriend, a guy named Jia. Jia insists on getting back together, and not wanting to be the only annoying one there, he texts Yang, who also goes to the club, so the two guys end up insisting on getting back with their ex-girlfriends, while the girls keep saying they don't want to. While the two women are at the club, Rui and Cheng are worried about Tong, because she's been gone for a long time and hasn't given any news. Cheng notices that he received a message, and when he opens it, it's Tong's location, which she sent herself. He gets worried and goes to the club where she is. When he arrives there, Yang tells Chung that Tong is safe and wants to stay there. He holds her hand, but Cheng wants to take her away and holds her other hand. It's up to Tong to decide who she wants to stay with, so she lets go of Yang's hand. Just to settle everything, Chung doesn't mince words when he tells Yang to leave them alone. Chung carries Tong on his back, as she drank too much that night. When they arrive at the team headquarters, Tong gets off Chung's back and isn't even dizzy. She just pretended to have drunk too much to be treated affectionately by Chung. She goes inside the headquarters and there's a guy she doesn't know. Tong gets scared and runs out. She goes outside and jumps into Chung's arms. He goes in to see who the intruder is, but when he gets there, it's Lu, his brother. Lu is Chung's brother, and he was supposed to be the new member of the players group. However, since he didn't arrive in time to take up the position, Tong took it instead. Just knowing this creates an awkward situation between Tong and Lu. But things get worse because the guy says he's a better player than she is. Lu even plays a match, talking about his strengths and the strategies he uses to win. And he insinuates that those are things Tong doesn't do. Confident and arrogant, he says he wants to stay on the team, and that when they need to replace Tong, he'll take her place. She doesn't like this suggestion at all. Another member of the team who doesn't like Lu's presence is Fatih. From what he says, it implies that Lu was irresponsible when he was part of the team, and because of him, the previous player got injured and had to stop playing. The next day, while they're all gathered together, we see through a video what happened to the player who had to leave the team. Through a security camera recording, we see a group of young people starting a fight in the hallway, and that's how the player got injured. Fady enters the room and confesses that he was the one who leaked that video online, and he explains that he did it to prove that everything was Lu's fault. Lu gets so angry that he goes after Fady, and the other members of the group need to hold them back. With tempers calmed down, Lu decides to tell what really happened. He explains that at the time that happened, the team had defeated a group called JK, but the guys didn't take the defeat very well. They decided to take the virtual fight to the real world and threatened them. To protect the team, Lu decided to intervene before more people got hurt, and that's why that fight happened. When Fadi finds out that it wasn't Lu who incited everything, he accepts him back onto the team. Days go by and everyone keeps training until it's time to face a team called JKSB. Tong is excited and can't wait to show that she has improved her gameplay. The match begins, and the other team isn't excellent, except for a specific player who gives Tong and her team a lot of trouble. But they work hard and manage to win. Everyone is excited, celebrating, but Cheng seems bothered. It turns out that the player from the other team is someone he recognizes because in the past he was his enemy, and not just in the virtual world. Well, that was my analysis of the show falling into your smile. from 2021. If you liked it, comment here part 2 so I can bring you the continuation of this show. We're together. Hugs from Henrique, mission accomplished over and out.